Donnie and Dolly. The team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.
It is 11:03. Donnie and Dolly on Check TV. No Don Taylor today, battling a cold, under the weather. Ryan Anderson filling in as co-host. He's not 100%.
I'm 100%.
No, you
not.
are.
Yeah.
Donnie's not. He's going to be back Monday.
We hope.
And we're going to be in trouble for a lot of mistakes we made today. I'll tell you that much. What are we doing here?
You're going to
You're
talk
the boss.
I'm not the boss. John Shannon.
You're the
joining
boss.
us.
John Shannon, co-host of the Bob McCown podcast, is going to join us right now. Bob.
Not
I just
Bob.
called you Bob. John. This is what happens, John, when the bus driver's not here, and this is what happens. I got 500 million pieces of paper in front of me. I might as well throw them in the air. Anyways, John Shannon.
Donnie, save me.
He's watching. Oh, hey, hold it a second.
Donnie.
He's right here. Show Donnie. Donnie's here.
Yeah.
Donnie's here.
Yeah, I know. The cardboard cutout's not that big, but it's good.
Yeah,
Good.
that's back.
And he's wearing a tie. That's nice. He's wearing a tie.
And he's got a hairdo you do not want in today's day and age. John,
He was going to watch St. Elmo's Fire, the movie. So
it's
Yeah,
almost John Travolta type hair, and nothing wrong with John Travolta because Saturday Night Fever was absolutely phenomenal. It was a good time, the disco age. Anyways, can we get to hockey, John?
Yes, you should.
You're the one supposed to be running
Okay.
the interview, Rick.
All right. I'm a big John Travolta fan, by the way. The Saturday Night Fever was really good. Okay, what do you do in Vancouver? 3 wins last week, and everybody thinks, here we go, this is the real team. Back-to-back,
Yeah.
home games, outscored 10-2. If you're Jim Rutherford right now, John, what the heck is going through your head?
Well, how bad Demko?
His MRI is a little bit later on this afternoon.
Yeah. Okay. I think we have to wait for that answer.
Yeah.
If we find that Thatcher Demko's out for a while,
But, John, they've called
and
up...
that does not look good. So
Yeah, but they called up John Delia.
Connor.
Colin Delia.
Colin Delia. They've called him up. They've called him up, so that tells you it's not good. Not good.
No, yes. I mean, it's now twixt and between. I was one of those guys on the bandwagon after the 3 in a row. I thought that this team was out of its funk. I thought that the defense was actually improving, that both Demko and Martin were starting to pull their weight. Scoring was never an issue, but I think, two games later, and that's how fragile it is, Rick. 2 games later. It is it on the verge of being another dumpster fire. It's a difficult one. And then as I said, let's wait until we get the Demko news and see what happens. But that certainly did not look very healthy last night.
No, it didn't. I want to get your views on Luongo, Ring of Honor or jersey retired. Everyone's talking about it. Did the Canucks make the right decision or the wrong one?
Well, first of all, he goes in on the ring next year, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
So they can change their mind.
Ooh. You think they would? They would look awfully bad if they did.
Why?
Why?
So hold on. Let me get this straight. Everybody's ripping them for not retiring number 1 for Roberto.
Yeah.
And then if they say, you know what, we made a mistake, we should have done the ring and the retirement number, they're going to get ripped for it, so they can't win.
Yeah. But then it will look like.
So I mean, if you admit your fault, well, you have to. The Canucks are in an interesting position, a lot because it's British Columbia, and I do think I understand the province. It's almost a public trust.
Yeah.
It is almost. It's sure it's a business, but the passion and the fan base make it a public trust.
Yeah.
So if you can, with public opinion, get a feel that, hey, maybe we did make a mistake, and then can come back out and say, by the way, you know what, we listened to our fans, we should retire the number 1 for Roberto Luongo, then that's a good thing. And that shouldn't be criticized for, well, they screwed up again. Well, no, they've admitted their fault, and they're trying to get back in the good books.
Yep.
Listening to your fan base is important at times.
Yep, that's true too.
And this is one of those ones where you would say, guys, and you know darn well with what's going on inside the walls there these days with all the noise, that they've heard this, they've had this discussion.
Yep.
And, they can change their mind.
Yep.
And I wouldn't be surprised in the next 4 or 5 months that, magically minds get changed.
Yeah, interesting.
Do you think they should change their mind, John, or do you think the Ring of Honor is the right spot for Roberto Luongo?
Well, I'm one of those guys that, I don't, if you go to all the arenas that we've been in, that Rick's been in, you go to Boston Garden, it's full of numbers. You go to the Montreal, you go to Bell Center, it's full of numbers. Some numbers are still being worn. You go to Toronto, most of those numbers, some guys are still wearing those numbers. So that becomes the real challenge. Should Roberto Luongo be honored the way Daniel and Henrik and Trevor and Stan are? Yes, he should.
Yep.
He should be honored that way for what he did and his contributions to the franchise. But does that mean they can't wear number 1 again? I don't know. And again, that's all. It's a very subjective debate.
Yep.
It's a very subjective debate. I would like to see Roberto given the due that he deserves based on what he did for this franchise. And to me, that means that there should be a number 1 hanging in the rafters.
Yeah,
I was going to ask you, John, actually, with all your experience, which team does honor former players the best, in your opinion? I know a lot of people would probably say Montreal, but
I think Edmonton does.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because they have set a criteria. The only way, and we saw this fulfilled in the last 12 months. The only way you get your number retired in Edmonton is if you're a member of the Hockey Hall of Fame.
Yep.
So it's a black and white issue. If the hockey world doesn't think that you're good enough to be in the Hall, then you don't get your number retired. Then, as they did this year with Ryan Smith and Lee Fogelin, then they go on the Ring of Honor. So, which is another reason why I think that Luongo, as now a member of the Hockey Hall of Fame, should be a retired number. And you can set up a criteria, henceforth. That's my work at Shakespeare, henceforth. So from this point forward, and they can almost do it that way, guys. They can almost say, by the way, Roberto Luongo, member of the Hockey Hall of Fame, from now on, the only sweaters that are going to be retired are Hall of Fame numbers.
Yeah.
We're not taking we're not taking Steamers off out of the rafters. We're not taking Naslin out of the rafters. But from now on,
you got to go to the Hall of Fame. In order to get your
number retired at Vancouver, you got to go to the Hall of Fame.
Yep.
And why not?
I think that's one of the things that frustrates Canucks fans a little bit, is because it doesn't seem to be, publicly at least, a criteria of this is why we're doing the retired number versus the Ring of Honor, or the other way around even. It's just kind of like, well, you can figure it out yourself. This is what's happened. This is why we're doing it.
And the frustration internally, I would assume, is we think we're doing something nice for Roberto Luongo when we're getting crapped on.
Right.
And so I don't. So everybody's got their backup, and you can't find a compromise. We need to, you need to find that compromise that says Luongo gets his number retired, and the criteria for having your number retired in Vancouver is this from now on, and live with it. And I think that people would buy that.
John, Steven Stamkos, 0.1000 last night. I first overall pick in 2008, 95th player to reach 1,000. Just a class act. Every year he brings it. You never hear anything bad about him. Happy for this guy, Steven Stamkos, last night, 0.1000.
Well, and here's the thing, Rick. Remember the broken leg.
Yeah, that's right.
This is not this was a career that was interrupted. Remember the blood clots. This was a career that was interrupted twice, and he's gotten to this point. We all remember Stephen when he was an 18-year-old draft pick coming out of Sarnia, doing what he was supposed to do. Lots of pressure.
Yeah.
He has grown into a really, really great leader, and has really been a big part of why Tampa is such a successful franchise.
Yep.
The way they carry themselves on and off the ice, and he deserves every moment of accolades. He should probably be closer to 1,200 points if you think about it.
Yep.
With everything he's gone through. But the good news is that he's back. He's 100% healthy. It took him a long time to get back to 100%.
Yep.
As you know, Rick, I mean, the people you talk to, he took a long time.
Yeah. He had his ups
now
and downs.
he's back.
Yeah.
He did. And you wondered if he would ever. You wondered if he would ever skate well again.
Yeah.
Well, he's done it and done it remarkably well.
He's been one of my favorite players to watch over the years, no question.
John, we had him on the podcast. So easy to talk to. Not every athlete is.
No.
But so easy to talk to.
And he's got the Sedin twins, great off the ice, all that stuff. John, Don will be back next week, so you won't be called
by the way,
Bob.
hold on, just a minute. We're live.
Oh, thank you.
We are
thank
live.
you.
We are
Okay,
live.
I just because I hate it when we're taped.
Yeah.
Well, it's also, you do have to clarify these things with Rick, so
Yeah,
I'm glad
exactly.
you told him that.
Yeah, you mean we can't edit out the part where he said Bob?
No. Don's back next week. He will call you by your right name.
Well,
have a nice weekend.
Yeah. And by the way, I like red and white wine.
Yeah.
And I'll go on Jody's show anytime. Okay.
We'll pass that along.
Red is good. There's good stuff in there. It's healthy. It's from what I've been told.
Okanagan wine. I'm from
absolutely.
Oliver, the wine capital of Canada.
Absolutely.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. All right.
Thanks,
John.
John.
Thank you. That is John Shannon.